as Ajuri just said in Abuja there, where he was referring to adding flesh to the bone, we could look at this particular situation as INEC being the head, and then the National Assembly, the House of Reps being the neck on which the head stands on. So if the neck is wielding the head to go a particular direction, it doesn't necessarily have to use the eyes on the head to show you the direction.
No, it's not, it doesn't apply in this case. What is being said is, in the past, we have always had it, presidential election and all that. Remember that the National Assembly is not made up of one person. It is Nigerians in parliament. If Nigerians have said, if we don't like this National Assembly, we can, at the next election, remove them. But as long as they are there, by the Constitution, they have the power to make laws for the good of the country. If they believe that the order of election as announced by INEC is not acceptable by them, that is then Nigerians, rightly or wrongly, they can amend the Electoral Act. So now after the amendment, INEC is to now organize and conduct. That is when the issue of conduct comes in. You don't conduct election outside the laws. So the Electoral Act says INEC will act under the Constitution and the Act.
So this is just a guideline. But let's look at it. Do you have it? What do you think about the rearrangement?
The rearrangement can be perceived by different people from different areas and different issues. Some parties may feel in different directions. But the point is that what the National Assembly has done shouldn't raise the type of dust it is raising. If it was done outside their constitutional rule, then we could talk about it. INEC has no powers to make laws.
Do you think they shouldn't raise? But let's leave that part of reordering the elections and look at some other things that were also amended, or the proposals that are coming up there. The increase of funds to be spent. So now for the presidency, he can spend as much as
5 billion.
5 billion to run for presidency. The governors can run for up to 1 billion. And the state the House of Reps and Senate, 100 million, 70 million, all the way down. Now we've been having these conversations about reducing the amount of money in Nigeria's political circle. Isn't that just opening it up for more money?
I was taken aback when I read that. I didn't think the National Assembly reflected my view and the view of people who will agree with me on that, because I'm using National Assembly in this sense of House of Representatives, who are the ones in issue now. We are making elections too expensive. Now look at how much a councillor should spend. If a councillor will spend up to 5 million for a councillorship position, how will he recover the money? And it's not it's a full-time position. So you will have to, how will we fight corruption? Then how will we ensure good governance? So I don't, it's not just like the reordering and all that. In that aspect, in reordering, I agree with the National Assembly. In fixing reforms, I don't agree with the National Assembly, because it's not going to be in the best interest of this country, from my understanding. The reason is, now you could see that National Assembly can get that far, legally speaking. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is that we will now end up, people will be selling their properties to get into office, they do or die thing, and recover. That's not...
which is already the situation.
That it is heightened now. It's not legal. The man is going to tell you, for me to get to this office, I spent 1 billion naira. I spent 5 million as a councillor, local councillor at home.
Okay, if you could put this also in context for us, is still on that previous matter where you say, yes, they've got the powers to make laws, but I thought the law also says, look, you can't make laws and it will have a retrospective effect. It's
not going to have a retrospective effect because no councillor has emerged. That's why I said no candidates have emerged.
But the timetable had been fixed.
No, I'm talking about finances now.
No, I'm talking about the first one. If a timetable has been fixed,
yeah,
and that law is made to alter the timetable, is that not retrospection?
No. The order followed, put up by INEC doesn't amount to law.
So does that mean that this law
doesn't amount to law? In fact, once this ordering becomes law, what if INEC does not work within it? Or the elections, you cannot even conduct elections under the old order. You conduct elections, like I take you back to the Electoral Act, check sections 1 to 3, that INEC will act in accordance with the Constitution and the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act would have then been amended, and any election you conduct then will be thrown away at the tribunal.
So what if they argue that, well, some will say it's retrospection because the process has already begun?
No process had begun.
So you don't consider the timetable being released as part of the process?
That is activism. That is not law. I mean, it's speculative. At this point, some political parties can challenge the order. The law when it is made. Remember, what we are discussing is still proceeding of the House of Reps.
Yeah.
When it becomes an act of Parliament, you can challenge it.
Okay, having said that, just give me the interpretation, just so that I could be wrong, to get it clearer.
Yeah.
If we have this order altered to what the House of Reps wants, and then we have the office of the President, the office of the Senate President, the office of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and then you have a third force that is likely to come through. How do you see this working out for those three positions as against the possibility of a third force, which is seen as a CN, as Obasanjo calls a CN?
You see, by the
how
laws,
would that work?
By the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Electoral Act, the Constitution, you can, even by the judicial authorities, you cannot field anybody for any position except you are a political party. And if you look at Obasanjo's position, he made it clear that the CN will not be a political party that will be fielding candidates for election. And the day he gets to that he will jet out of it. So he was looking at some form of coalition that is not a pressure group, perhaps, that is short of being a political party, but that can encourage or get people to go and run for political offices. So the CN, I don't think will metamorphose into that, but it may be an engine room for candidates. But aside from that, there is hardly any statement made with respect to an election now that will not be controversial, because people are already agitated. In the next 6 months, primaries will be almost with us. In fact, as we speak, governance is now getting towards the back door. You will see posters, flyers, struggle for structure in the states.
Doesn't that lend to the controversy about when they make laws concerning these elections?
So
it does.
Well, that is speculative.
No, but I'm just trying to anchor on what you said.
It's speculative. So as it is, that is what will be. The politics is going to be heated so much now.
Is that speculative too?
So, well, it's also speculative, because we don't have facts and figures about it, but we know it takes place in most instances. So what we are talking about is what the National Assembly had done is more or less like a change. You know, resistance to change often comes.
Is it a liberal change?
Well, people who would have set their minds, okay, once we get a presidential candidate, everything will run, are not likely to get it now. We will now start with that, and that is likely to assist some political parties that may not be as powerful as the big ones,
do you think
to even win 1 or 2 seats. Remember that at some point in this country, some parties were removed from the electoral list because they couldn't win any seats.
But
we must get to a country, we may get to a stage now where if you start with the state assemblies, some party may win just 1 seat in 1 assembly and celebrate it.
Do you think
that is democracy.
Do you think the third force can register as a party before the election?
Well, there is no law preventing political parties from coming up. Not a few days ago, INEC registered more political parties in an already congested arena, that you know that before you even take up vote now, it will take more time because the list is virtually endless. You will have high incidence, perhaps, of mutilated, voting or void voting, because the man may look through it. He doesn't see, he votes somewhere.
Mr. Anaba,
and because you are going to fold, because it has to be folded down, the list could be at this long.
They can be sued if they don't act, if they don't register those parties.
No, I'm not saying they cannot be sued. So I would have expected that we would have made so much progress that we have even electronic voting.